Right now, as you watch this, a company is spending $85,000. Not on a product, not on research, not on employee salaries. $85,000 on a name on the side of a building. That's what SoFi Technologies pays every single hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 20 years. Just so, a sports anchor somewhere has to say the words SoFi Stadium instead of that big place in Inglewood. And here's the thing. They're not alone. Crypto.com paid $700 million to rename the Staples Center. Citi has its name on the Mets ballpark. Allegiant Stadium, Kaseya Center, Paycor Stadium. The question that should be keeping you up at night, especially as someone who's trying to think clearly about money and the companies that handle it, is this. Why would a rational corporation spend more on a name than most people earn in 10 lifetimes? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a corporate logo the same way again. To understand where we are, you have to go back to 1926. William Wrigley Jr., the chewing gum king, puts his name on a baseball stadium in Chicago. Now, technically that wasn't a paid naming rights deal in the modern sense. He owned the team. He owned the building. It was his name on his stuff. But the psychological blueprint was already there. Connect your brand to something people love, and they'll carry your name in their hearts without even thinking about it. Fast forward to 1988. Great Western Bank cuts a deal to name the L.A. Lakers Arena, the first real commercial naming rights agreement in American sports. The price tag? $1.5 million a year. $1.5 million sounded crazy then. Today it sounds like a rounding error. In 3 decades, the market exploded from $1.5 million to $31 million a year for SoFi. That's not gradual inflation. That's a fundamental shift in how corporations compete. Not just for customers, but for something far more valuable. Attention. Marketers have a term for what they're actually buying with these deals. They call it brand salience. And it's worth understanding, because it explains almost every major advertising decision a big company makes. Brand salience is simple. When you're about to make a decision, open a bank account, pick a credit card, choose a crypto exchange, your brain doesn't run a spreadsheet. It pulls from a mental list of names it already knows and feels comfortable with. The brands that make that short list win. The ones that don't, lose. It doesn't matter how good their rates are. It doesn't matter how low their fees are. If they're not on your mental shelf, they don't exist. And stadiums? Stadiums are the most efficient mental shelf stacking machine ever invented. Think about what happens every single time a game is played. A sportscaster says the stadium name. A fan posts a photo and tags the location. A news segment opens with an aerial shot. A rideshare app populates the address. The name gets spoken, seen, typed, and emotionally associated every single time with one of the most powerful human experiences there is: winning, belonging, excitement, community. Now, think about what SoFi actually sells. Student loan refinancing, savings accounts, credit cards, abstract, invisible financial products that most people find confusing or boring. Putting their name on a stadium is a shortcut to something money can't usually buy directly: emotional legitimacy. Every time you cheer at SoFi Stadium, some part of your brain quietly files the name under trustworthy and important. That's not an accident. That's the entire strategy. And the research backs it up. Studies show stadium name recall among fans of the home team hits as high as 94%. TV advertising, the thing companies have relied on for decades, Gets you somewhere between 15 and 30% recall on a good day. Stadium naming rights aren't just marketing, they're memory installation. But here's where this story gets genuinely dark. It's 2021. Crypto is everywhere. Bitcoin is near all-time highs. And a company called FTX, a crypto exchange run by a 29-year-old named Sam Bankman-Fried, pays $135 million to put its name on the Miami Heat's arena. At the time, it felt like a power move, like a coming-out party for the entire crypto industry. Look at us. We're not just an internet experiment anymore. We're on the same building where LeBron James played. 14 months later, FTX was bankrupt. Billions of dollars in customer funds were gone, and workers were sent to that arena in the middle of the night to physically strip the name off the building. The shortest naming rights tenure in American sports history. Under 12 months from announcement to removal. But here's the part that should make you stop and think. FTX wasn't just bad luck. The naming rights deal itself was a signal. Spending aggressively on brand visibility, at the exact same moment, it should be investing in infrastructure, compliance, and fundamentals. That's a pattern worth noticing, and it wasn't the first time. In 2000, Enron, yes, that Enron, paid $100 million to put its name on Houston's baseball stadium. At the time, Wall Street analysts called it a bold prestige move. 18 months later, Enron collapsed in one of the largest accounting frauds in American history. The stadium name wasn't just marketing, it was camouflage, a way to project financial strength that didn't actually exist. And then, there's Crypto.com. They paid $700 million, the largest naming rights deal ever recorded at the time, to rename the Staples Center in Los Angeles. 2 months later, the broader crypto market crashed 70%. The name stayed, but the optics were brutal. So what does any of this have to do with you? Here's the lens shift I want you to carry out of this video. The next time you see a bank's name on a stadium, or a fintech company's logo plastered across a sports broadcast, don't just absorb it. Ask a question. What are they trying to make me feel? And does that feeling match what they're actually offering? Because the entire point of a $500 million naming rights deal is to bypass your rational mind, to make trust feel automatic, to put a name in your head so deeply that you reach for it without thinking. Companies that are winning on product don't always need to spend this way. But companies that are racing to establish legitimacy, especially in new or abstract industries, often do. That's not a rule, but it's a pattern. Every stadium deal is a window into how a corporation thinks about your psychology. The dollar amount tells you how much they're willing to spend to get inside your head. Understanding that doesn't make you cynical. It makes you sharper as a consumer and as an investor. If this made you look at branding differently, you'll want to watch our next video on how banks spend billions every year to make you feel safe handing them your money. And what's actually worth trusting. It's linked right there. See you in it.